So, hello Emma, how are you?
She can do that too?
And Cinema.
Emma Raducanu was born on November the 13th, 2002. She was born in Toronto, Canada, to a Romanian father and Chinese mother, Ian and Renee Raducanu, with family such as her grandmother still living in Bucharest. At just 2 years old, her family moved to Greater London. At a young age, her father encouraged Emma to take up many different hobbies and interests. At first she tried her hand at ballet, before her father threw her into horse riding, swimming and go-karting. But at the age of 5, tennis had piqued her interest, after her parents had taken up the sport, dragging their daughter down to the local park. This interest blossomed into passion thanks to such players as Simona Halep and Li Na. From the age of 5 till 10, she played and trained at Bromley Tennis Academy. She went to a selective girls' grammar school in the borough of Bromley called Newstead Wood School, founded in 1957, which specialises in engineering and psychology. August of this year, she completed her A-levels, achieving an A star in maths and an A in economics, alongside her 3 9s and 4 8s at GCSEs, proving herself to be incredibly smart. As a pupil, she was described by her teachers to be a model pupil, with head teacher Alan Blount stating from year 7 she was hard-working, diligent, and actually you wouldn't have known that she was a blossoming tennis superstar alongside it. Her parents have been behind her the whole way with tennis and with school, and they've made sure that the focus on schooling didn't drop. They know the importance of education, he said. They're looking to make sure that Emma is achieving in all areas of her life. That's the school and the sport, and that she's also reading books and taking part in extracurricular activities at school. She is an absolute all-rounder. Emma's maths teacher Sarah Sword has said she has managed this amazing balance between her studies and pursuing her passion for tennis. She's simply lovely. Raducanu herself has said, "I think staying in school has definitely helped me in terms of having another set of friends I can come into. It was a different way of life, it's a bit of an escape as well for me. To have another thing going alongside my tennis, it's kept my mind occupied. When you train, you only train a certain amount of hours a day. You've still got a lot of time to fill. It's definitely helped to keep my mind active. I find it's actually helped me with my on-court career as well, in the way that I can absorb a lot of information. I feel that on-court, I'm more tactically astute than some others."
When I was packing to come into the bubble, my parents were like, "Aren't you packing too many sets of match kit?"
Emma was fairly successful from a young age, winning UK national champion titles in under 9s, under 12s and under 16s. As well as this, she also secured a bronze medal at the under 12 Winter European Cup and won a Tennis Europe event at Brescia, Braga and Zoetermeer. She earned her first junior ITF title when she had just turned 13, the youngest in which you can enter. However, it was not all plain sailing for the young Brit. Injuries and school held her back from playing more junior level tournaments. As said previously, education was very much encouraged, as well as her achievements and progress on the court. In May 2018, she went on to win her first ITF title, that year going on to make the quarter-finals of Junior Wimbledon and the Junior US Open. She hit a career-high junior ranking of 20 that year, losing to one Iga Swiatek at Wimbledon and turning pro that year as well. Emma is also part of the LTA's Pro Scholarship Programme, which provides support such as physio, well-being, medical, financial and National Tennis Centre access to the best 16 to 24-year-old players in Britain, the ones most likely to make the top 100. Emma's coach until July 2021 was Nigel Sears, father-in-law to that of Andy Murray. When asked about the future of the young star, he responded saying, "Quite frankly, I think the sky's the limit." He first started working with her at age 15 as a consultant and has some big names associated with him, coaching such players as Handikova, Ivanovic and Kontaveit. In 2020, Emma took part in the Billie Jean King Cup, as well as reaching the final of a 25k ITF event in Sunderland, winning the St George's Hill UK Pro Series Classic and Premier British Tour Summer and Winter titles later that year. Following this, she also took part in Jamie Murray's organised Battle of the Brits, doing her part to ensure a victory for the British Bulldogs. Not long after finishing her A-levels, Raducanu made her WTA Tour main draw debut at the 2021 Nottingham Open, losing first round to fellow Brit Harriet Dart, reaching the quarter-finals of an ITF event a couple weeks later, gaining entry into the main draw of Wimbledon thanks to a wildcard and making her Grand Slam debut. She advanced to the fourth round, becoming the youngest Brit to do so in the Open era. Unfortunately, on July 5th, Raducanu retired in the second set of her fourth round match against Ayla Tomljanovic due to breathing difficulties, releasing a statement the following day.
I found it very difficult to regulate my breathing. I think that it was emphasized by some very long rallies that we had towards the end of the first set, which made it tough for me to keep my composure and the breathing in check. And then at the beginning of the second set was when I struggled with it the most, and I called the trainer on and made the decision at the end of the changeover.
She eventually returned to the tour for the US Open hardcourt swing, losing in the first round at Silicon Valley to Zhang, making the quarterfinals from qualifiers in another ITF event and finishing off with a final in a Chicago Challenger event. Beginning Wimbledon, Raducanu was ranked 338 in the world. Before playing the US Open, she is now into the top 150. During this time, she has also had a coach change from Nigel Sears to a youth coach and ex-British player Andrew Richardson. Not quite ranked high enough just yet to enter the main draw, Emma had to go through the qualifying stages. On her way, she beat number 4 seed Maya Sharif, losing just 16 games and no sets in all 3 matches, entering the main draw. Round 1 was set to be an interesting one, coming up against Jennifer Brady, who despite making the Australian Open final earlier in the year, had not had a brilliant season, and so quite possibly a fairly doable opening round for the Brit. She wasn't to find out as Brady withdrew citing an injury. Instead, Raducanu came up against lucky loser Stephanie Vögele, had a rematch against Shui Zhang, and continued her run against Sorribes Tormo and defeating Shelby Rogers, who cleared her path of world number 1 Ash Barty, coming to a loss of just 15 games in 4 matches played in the main draw, not dropping a single set and becoming the youngest Brit to reach the quarterfinals at the US Open.
In terms of tennis-wise, I'm playing better and better with each match that I'm playing, and especially on the hard courts, it's different to grass, so with each match I'm gaining experience. I don't think it's really comparable because I'm just taking it one match at a time and just focusing on what I have to do with each point, because as soon as you get ahead of yourself and start thinking ahead, then that's where you get distracted and sidetracked. So I'm just focusing on the day and taking it one match at a time. Having played 4 or 5 weeks on the tour now, I think that with each week I'm getting more and more accustomed to the physical demands of playing at this level. Thank you so much for watching my match. I really appreciate it, and you're an absolute legend, so I'm really honoured to have had you here, and I'm gonna just try and do my best each round, and let's see how far it goes.
With an extraordinary backhand, impressive return, and aggressive and intense play style, not to mention a smart head on her shoulders, Emma Raducanu, with plenty more experience over the next year or so, could take up the mantle left by Andy Murray as the game's only British hope for achieving great things.